gods have a plan for you, a destiny.
What's up, everybody? Today we've got The Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Disney's 2010 Memorial Day weekend blockbuster directed by Mike Newell and produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Jake Gyllenhaal stars as a swashbuckling Prince Dastan, and Gemma Arterton co-stars as a stubborn and hard-to-get love interest. She's really hot. She's really hot. Oh, she's really hot. This was Disney's fourth movie to be assigned a PG-13 rating by the MPAA. And she has sexy brown eyes.
So we're fresh off seeing Prince of Persia in its opening slot.
Midnight showing last night.
It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, who does pretty well. I don't think he does the character all that well. He seems a little mopey. Overall, he's just a charming guy. It's not hard to watch him in a movie because he's just kind of natural,
right,
easygoing, doesn't try too hard.
Right. They definitely wrote his character pretty well, but he doesn't really match the character's description all that well.
Don't press your luck.
His accent too did not sound Persian. I don't know what it really was, but to me it didn't sound Persian, at least not to what not any other time I've heard a Persian accent.
Do you know a lot of Persians?
You
know any Persians?
I don't personally know any Persians.
I don't think there are any Persians anymore.
Well,
I think it's Iran now, isn't it?
You
know any Iranians?
I might, yes. I may have met some. Work, maybe?
At work? Along with Jake Gyllenhaal, a lot of other characters kind of slyly come into frame as being important. I think that might be a point of confusion in the film. It seems like a lot of characters you get to know a little bit, but then they become important, and then some characters out of left field become important, and you're not really sure who's centered at the story at this point, and you're kind of thrown into just different groups of people without really any kind of explanation as to why.
That actually, for me, is the largest point that I want to make towards this film as to why I actually didn't like it. It was really, really difficult to make any type of emotional connection to a character when each shot in the entire film is shot in, 2 seconds. I tried to count it out for a little bit myself, and for about 5 minutes straight, each shot was like 1 to 3 seconds long only. And this is not even a fight scene. This is just regular dialogue, just regular conversations between two characters. The storyline wasn't hard to keep track of. You could kind of understand what was going on with the storyline, but it was just so confusing as to how the characters ended up to where they were, how he ended up in a tower, how they ended up in a gambling den, how they ended up here. It was just so confusing, and you could make zero connection to really any of the characters at all whatsoever.
Who said you were a beauty?
There must be a reason why you can't take your eyes off me.
For me, my complaint about the film is that it seemed like it was created through the editing. I feel that they had just a lot of shooting, they had a lot of situations, a lot of characters, and they kind of had a general idea as to what they wanted to accomplish as far as the story goes. But I felt that the film probably came into form with a bunch of guys in an editing room. You know, kind of how we make our movies. I feel like a lot of different parts you could have arranged the order and come out with the same outcome. And like you said, some of the cuts, you're not really sure how people are ending up where they're at, how this person's getting to this room or this situation.
And that might be why.
And they just pop right in.
And that might be why.
That might be why. Maybe the actors, the directors didn't really know where it was headed. They kind of just filmed a bunch of different scenes, different landscapes, and composed it and made the film through editing. Which isn't a bad thing. I know a lot of films do that. A lot of directors stick by that. But it shouldn't be obvious.
But
I like the movie for some reason. I'm not in love with it. I probably wouldn't see it again. But there's something light about it. Maybe it's the Disney, the whole idea that it's Disney, which kind of reduces some of the swords you want to throw at it.
Right.
Because maybe they're appealing to not the harshest crowd.
Right.
And there's still something light and fun about it. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal does that well, keeping it light and fun.
Yeah. His character's never too serious, really, at any one moment in time, except when he's talking about the fact that he had no parents. Speaking of the violence, I felt like it was a pretty violent film for a Disney movie. I mean, it definitely was. I mean, these guys are getting their throats slit, and you're hearing gurgling.
I think aside from all the crazy violence, the startling violence for a Disney movie, it ends in Disney fashion.
Not that that's really a spoiler, because all Disney movies end with a happy ending.
Right.
So.
You weren't thinking there to be.
No, I didn't think everyone was gonna die off and then come back to life.
Overall, it might not have been worth the $9 I paid to get in. It wasn't a great movie. It's good for a Memorial Day weekend release for Disney.
All in all, when it really comes down to it, it was all right. I maybe liked it. It was entertaining for the 2 hours. I don't think I'd go sit through it again. I probably wouldn't rent it. Probably won't watch it on Netflix. It was just really hard to find this as a movie that was going to end up on my shelves at home. Definitely mediocre in my opinion.
For some odd reason, I found myself entertained by this movie. There wasn't a lot of time for character development. The movie just got right into it. As they also mentioned, there were a lot of holes. A lot of things didn't necessarily add up. Despite all that, I kind of liked it. Gemma, smoking hot, meh. I'll give it a meh.
I think aside from all the crazy